are in. Want to go to my guest right now, Kimberly Dvorak. She is the award-winning national security and border security investigative reporter for TV, radio, and the print media. Kimberly, by the way, is the senior foreign policy advisor for the Committee for Responsible Foreign Policy. She's also a TV correspondent, CW6 News San Diego, One American News Network, and her website is thekdreport.com, and she's usually streaming live at this time.
And I am.
Kimberly, how are you, ma'am?
I'm doing okay.
Are you streaming live?
Yeah.
Let me see here. I think.
Yeah.
No, I don't see it right here, but it'll probably flop in a minute here. My
Algorithms.
slow computers, you know. I got to tell you something. This is one of the most interesting reports you've done, and you have done some very, very stimulating and interesting reports. Psychotropic drugs and guns don't mix. And boy, you have hit it on the head on this one, Kimberly.
Yeah, this story that I sent for you to kind of get some background was written back in 2015. So here we are, another mass shooting at a school, and it doesn't seem that the school districts or, activists, they don't want to harden our schools. I mean, that's what we should be doing. And also, just be out there, they need to stop prescribing psychotropic drugs to people that kind of will get violent. And it just seems that in this country, you move forward and everybody wants it yesterday, and you're gonna feel much better. I'm just gonna give you something for your ADHD and those kind of issues. And from that, it's that's devastating. These kids, they've taken this stuff from early on, not just like 5 minutes ago, but early on. So I have not found a study out there that exists at all. Nobody's even looking into it. So this is all about big pharma. And they want to come after your guns now, but this is all about big pharma. How have they avoided any kind of controversy or any kind of, talking about let's work together? To me, it's just so astounding that this really seems to be the issue. We haven't tried it. Let's fix the antidepressants and things like that here, and then let's see how it works. But parents. But it's just like I said, they just want their kid to feel okay, go to school, and then we just don't know how many years that takes to build up in your system. And once it gets out, and once you take miss 2 weeks and go back to it, or take too many in one day, you're seeing these young people, shooting and killing a ton of people, and it's really, really sad.
Well, they ought to have a saying. Money is the root of all evil.
Mm-hmm.
Money really plays a part here.
Yeah.
And when you read this entire report that you've done, it's scary, And the thing is, the BBC, that's over in London, I think,
yep,
reported that the top 10 pharmaceuticals earned more than $400 billion in sales last year. And they spent nearly $100 billion, so that means they had a profit of $300 billion. This was measly $300 billion in sales and marketing. But the problem is that whenever you're talking about psychic drugs that are, full of stuff that are going to make you go crazy, there's got to be more control on it. And I'm reading this. I don't think there is, right?
No, again, we have a shooting. They want to blame the gun was the problem. Well, how did he get a gun? And should we have been watching him all along? Which, kids at his school knew what he was going to do at some point. But, there's just no accountability. And I find it really alarming that we aren't even going down this road with big pharma. And you're looking at a lot of the COVID, jabs and boosters and all of that stuff. That's not working. And they're not getting called out on any of that because you can go in and look at some of the reporting on research on this found that a couple of these COVID jabs actually were doing nothing, and they're doing the exact opposite, and people are still dying from that.
All right, well, we're coming up on that break, and let me tell you something, listener. It is estimated, according to this report, that more than 500,000 children are currently prescribed the psychotropic medications to control depression, attention deficit disorder, and various other mental deficiencies. And when you look at the list, it just seems like this stuff just creeps in to the bad person, the one that ends up doing a terrible crime. We're going to continue with more from Kimberly Dvorak in just a moment. The website, thekdreport.com.
Now it's time for MedVet Entertainment Minute. Some 30 years ago, two intrepid chipmunk crime fighters delighted kids across the country on Disney Afternoon, and now they're back for new adventures, combining live action and computer graphics in Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, now streaming on Disney+. Rescue Rangers! Into the skies or something!
I'm thinking reboot.
Nobody wants a reboot! Well, cartoon fans may relish this quick, clever adaptation with literally dozens of references to classic animated films down through the years, including some characters from outside the Disney stable. The twisty film noir plot is difficult for viewers of any age to comprehend, and the animation and effects are also surprisingly pedestrian in a PG-rated romp that nonetheless delivers moments of entertainment and inventiveness. 2 stars for Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Hi, this is Fred Fryer talking about my favorite Italian restaurant, Angelo's and Vinci's at 550 North Harbor Boulevard in downtown Fullerton. A fantastic place to eat. Come inside and dine in our Italian town square, complete with a 10-foot Christmas tree. That's right, 10 feet. Enjoy our food made from secret family recipes. Pasta, chicken, seafood, salad, and our delicious pizza. Incredible desserts, including my favorite, the tiramisu, flown directly in from Italy. Feel the spirit at Angelo and Vinci's, 550 North Harbor Boulevard in Fullerton, California. Call 714-879-4022 or visit angelosandvinci's.com. That's angelosandvinci's.com.
What are you so happy about? I'm on the bill. Aren't you two a bit old to worry about having more kids? Not her. Me. You lost me there, buddy. Steel man pills. Things weren't always looking up and you catch my drift. So, my doctor prescribed me a little something. Like Viagra? Yeah, but that's expensive, and it wasn't covered by my insurance. Steel man pills cost me less than $3 a pill, and virtually the same effect. I just called and got over 40 pills for only $99. I have this friend who might be looking. Well, if your friend wants some help, the consultation is free over the phone. No clinic. Steel man pill sends it in the mail in a confidential package. I'm on it. I mean, my friend will be on it. Steel man pills. Going the extra mile to help men with erectile dysfunction. 800-605-1683. 800-605-1683. 800-605-1683. That's 800-605-1683. For the getaway of your dreams, come to Hawaii's Playground, Kaanapali Beach Resort, on the fun side of Maui, where the world comes to play. Find your spot on Kaanapali Beach with 3 miles of white sand, 12 resort properties, 2 golf courses, and 2 shopping centers. Enjoy the playground of Hawaii's ancient royalty. Kaanapali Beach Resort is Hawaii's original master plan destination resort and home of the Hawaii Food and Wine Festival. With views of 2 neighboring islands, you can breathe in the land's natural beauty from your favorite resort or golf fairway. Come experience Kaanapali's own special brand of Hawaiian hospitality with world-class dining, relaxing resorts, water sports, and activities of every kind. For romantic, family, and great friend getaways, discover the options of Kaanapali Beach Resort, where the world comes to play. Plan your getaway today. Visit KaanapaliResort.com. That's KAANAPALI Resort.com.
Everybody's talking at me.
WCRN, Chuck Wilder with Kimberly Dvorak discussing her latest psychotropic drugs and guns don't mix. And in the report it says Big Pharma is curiously missing from any Capitol Hill discussions on mass violence. The topic has also been conspicuously absent from television and print media.
Yeah.
Now, why would this be? Is there a Kajing cash register in the background on this, Kimberly?
Are you referring to the advertising that these companies are giving to TV stations across the country? And I tried to write a couple stories when I was in San Diego at the time, and it's because of advertising money. That's the bread and butter that the news actually needs. The ads pay for the staff. So when you see that, we've got Pfizer here. No, I'm sorry, we can't do that story because that'll really tick off Pfizer and some people are going to have to just get fired. That's their rationale with this. Instead of, going out and saying, look, let's put together a panel and let's get the top researchers, psychiatrists. Let's get them all in a room together and let them kind of run out and do whatever it is they're going to do statistically to find out, if the numbers 500,000 kids on this, which is so sad. And for that, what are we getting? We're not even addressing the issues.
Well, it just doesn't seem fair. I mean, if you're going to get all these Congress critters up there, hollering about everything that's wrong with guns and kids shooting kids, they should bring this in. And somebody ought to put them on the board for it, like, why don't you talk about all these drugs that are being administered? How many of these people that have gone on these wild shooting sprees were on some kind of medication that may have affected all of this?
Yeah.
And I bet you it would be up in the 90% or 80% at least.
Yeah, it's very disturbing. I just kind of want to read a paragraph so the listener can actually get a better visual. And it comes from the FDA. They assert that antidepressants increase the risk of suicide thinking and believes suicide are children are getting younger. So basically, you have
children are getting younger. You're saying, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, but parents aren't even being, given all of the side effects. When's the last time that we watched a drug commercial on TV, and then at the very end they go through all the disclaimers and they talk about they have antidepressants that they advertise on, and when you look at that, they're not giving all the parents, I don't think at least, what they need to help their kids kind of get back on track and kind of looking around and saying, okay, there's a better way out. We should always, the last thing that we should do before giving our kids antidepressants is talking with an attorney, talking with your doctors, talking with psychiatrists. And we're going through this huge abortion bubble right now in this country. I kind of think these kids, and we're losing a lot of them, is more important than talking about that. And we won't hear anything. They donate to all the political campaigns, but when you look at it, and we saw what happened last week, it's devastating. I mean, it's just absolutely devastating to see this happen again. Even though politicians have all gone, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Well, Governor Greg Abbott out of Texas said that he was going to have a special session, and he was going to do something about that. And, this also means that you need to go, like I said, get a formula. How is it going to make the school safe? Lock the doors, maybe an alarm system that goes right to the, police department. There are little things like that that they can do, but they really need mental health care facilities. So, back in the 70s, we didn't have any school shootings. There was no school shootings. And now as we move forward, they just are coming all the time, and they're preventable. These are preventable.
I don't think in the olden days, we'll call those the 50s, 60s, 70s, okay? Just for the heck of it, since you and I are so young. Anyway, I don't think there were very many kids that were on hard drugs, you know? And now that's like a babysitter, I think, for a lot of parents, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe when we finally get around, you know, to getting this chip in our arm or our leg or wherever they're going to put it, it'll be able to ring up, you can't sell this person a gun because they're taking psychiatric drugs, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, they're
I would hate for it to ever come to that, but I mean, it's almost like you want to, you know, take away our guns, why don't you just put the chip in there and say, okay, you're clear, you're not taking any crazy drugs, so maybe you know how to handle a gun, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I'm very suspicious about this guy.
Yeah.
Last one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the American people, we survived through COVID. Now they're saying there's another one on its way, I guess. So a lot of people have been, you know, stuck indoors. They haven't been going outdoors as much as they used to do. We're having, like, the drug overdoses are up already this year. And why aren't we, when you look at this from this front, so maybe we should be building some more, you know, institutions so that we can actually deal with this problem. Because we didn't have that. And when I went to high school, by the way, I'm just saying, you walk through the parking lot and not everyone, but nearly every car had a long gun in it because it was a farm country. So they weren't shooting people up. So this is where the big pharma has to be held accountable. We have the stories. We have the research. They have got to be held accountable for this. And they should be there on the ground looking at all of those devastated parents and see the massacre. They should be ashamed of themselves. And we know it's for the money. So this is, for me, it's like finding the money. And it's coming from Big Pharma. And they have like one of the highest debt to ratio for, they don't have any really extra costs. So a drug, once you get it made, like a psychotropic drug, costs you like $3 or $4. Well, the return they're going to get on that investment is substantially higher. So they don't have to worry about really jumping in and getting people all addicted to these antidepressants. And especially, we've had kids, like I said, that school was out for a year, some more than that, and we need to take care of our kids first before we go to Ukraine, before we do anything. Because if we don't do this, if we don't as a nation look into this, this will continue to have a role in murder for children. And I don't know anybody who wants to do that.
And I mean, you've almost got to have a magnifying glass to look at all the factors that go into why has it changed so much. You know, you mentioned about how people had guns whenever you were going to school.
Yeah.
Like with me, it was, 90% of the cars parked outside of the high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And especially if it was a pickup, and this was in West Texas, southeastern New Mexico. You would have a rifle hanging in your back window, and you'd go out and shoot rattlesnakes and rabbits and things like that. But you know what we didn't have? We had 3 channels on the TV, okay? And we didn't have everything from A to Z on the internet.
Yeah.
And the most dangerous thing we had might have been a pinball machine. If the glass got broken or something, the ball might hit you in the eye. Who knows?
Yeah.
But it's not like you don't want to have change and you don't want to live in the past forever.
Yeah.
But this drug problem, I think, is the main thing. I'm just taking a wild guess here, and I might be right on the nail.
Yeah.
It's a babysitter. Plus you got fentanyl. How much does fentanyl affect people, the ones that survive taking fentanyl?
Yeah. Well, these are all very good questions. And to kind of go back to what we talked about a few minutes ago, that Big Pharma spends big dollars for TV networks
yeah.
for this. So, and then they advertise, and they advertise for all of this, and then at the end, may cause suicide and this whole outlandish amount of money, and then you take that to the next level, and then you've got parents bringing their kids in saying, "Hey, I saw this commercial on TV. I'd like Johnny to take that. Can we sign up for that?" That this should not have any TV with regards to this story and other. They need to stop the TV. It's kind of like big tobacco. They went through it, and then what happened? They were kicked off of the media advertising, and they couldn't advertise that. So why aren't we doing that here? That could be another thing that helps, bring these numbers down and try to figure out why our kids are having such trouble emotionally. Is that just peer pressure, or they don't like themselves very much? There's an underlying root to all of this, and we need to get it started. We need to start doing that. And what happened last week, but I don't see us doing anything. It's just not, it's not doing anything. And they wait to get in line to talk on the TV cameras because that's what they want, their coverage, and they don't come back in 1 to 3 months saying, okay, this is what we think we ought to do. And in fact, Donald Trump now is coming up with a plan right now to harden the schools. And he's bringing people together. We're going to look at. We can't have these, people come in and shoot and kill kids. And he's not president anymore. But he's really mortified by what happened. And anybody should be mortified on that. It's just, it's just. It's super sad.
Yeah, and I think that no parent should even object to having guarded, armed people at schools.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you bet them close enough, you're not going to have to worry about one of those going crazy,
Yeah.
I don't think. I've never heard of one doing that, in fact. But the pharma and the drug, when I read this report, Kimberly, I was telling people, I said, my goodness, you never realize how many bad drugs are going into our kids, and it's no wonder. They're under a lot of pressure. It seems like whenever you turn 15, maybe, it's like all of a sudden you have more things on your shoulders than you can almost handle. And it's everything from A to Z, right?
Yep, it is.
And then if you add the drug to it.
Yeah. Well, and also with social media out there, they can be maybe held a little accountable for this as well, because a lot of these young kids, they're going online, they're learning about drugs, a whole host of things, and they don't know that it's not real sometimes with TV, just like Call of Duty.
All right, let me give you an example here, okay? You can't advertise cigarettes on TV anymore, right?
Yep.
But why can you keep advertising all these drugs that are harmful to the children?
I don't know.
Because of the money, I guess.
Because of the money, and I just really think that it's going to require bipartisanship and bring in the experts, show them all of the stats, and this is what happens here, and this is how many people, our kids in this country, are taking antidepressants, and they could lead to suicide. Why are we giving our kids something where one of the side effects is suicide? It's really, really easy to get antidepressants, and I just think that, like I said, with the COVID being around, they've been locked in, they couldn't see their friends, and that makes a big difference.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What's that called? The closet effect or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also you wonder how many people that are getting these drugs, and sometimes I guess, they're getting them and it doesn't cost anything because somebody else is paying for it. But you wonder, maybe this also has a lot to do with creating a lot of homelessness.
Yeah. Well, yeah, people who do drugs, we've got some pretty hectic, southern border, moving on up here. But yeah, people do drugs, and then they can't pay the rent, so then they move to the street. And we have right now we have such an epidemic of people who are not living in a home and they're homeless. Another issue that probably you can even pull that into the realm of discussion when we're talking about psychotropic drugs. You know, they shouldn't have to be living on the streets, and we should be taking care of them better. And I'll say that, last week we know that the U.S. is giving Ukraine another, $44 billion. Why don't you take some of that money and the leftover from COVID money, make it mandatory that they go in and they make sure that their school's up to par. Don't be afraid to put protectors on. What am I thinking about? The airports where you scan through it. They have gun detectors. They actually, when you look at the schools that have done that, they haven't seen the violence as much as just these random. And I don't understand why anybody would go to
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Kimberly, I got to interrupt you. We're coming up on that break.
Okay.
When we come back, under the title Mass Killers and Prescription Drugs They Consumed, you have a list there, and we'll try to get that out because that is very interesting. And parents, if you're new to the ideal of depression treatment, you should consult the National Alliance on Mental Illness. That's NAML website. NAML website, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. We're going to be right back with Kimberly Dvorak, thekdreport.com.
Attention real estate investors. Do you need cash immediately? If you own one or multiple rental properties, you can use your equity to get cash out fast. The best part is we don't need tax returns or even a good credit score. At America's Loan Source, we are not a bank and we don't have bank rules. We make the decisions to loan you money, and there's no limit how much we can give you. Some clients have gotten as much as $500,000 or more within days. Use the money any way you want. If you own one rental property or 100, and COVID has left you in a cash crunch, we can help you turn your equity into fast cash. Call now for details and close in as little as 10 days and get the cash you need. 800-353-1760. 800-353-1760. 800-353-1760. That's 800-353-1760.
When you really want Italian food, you have got to get to Columbo's. Columbo's Italian Steakhouse and Jazz Club, Colorado Boulevard, Eagle Rock. It's that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. Today, it seems so hard to enjoy just a little bit of food. So much of life seems to get in the way. But fear not, seekers of fabulous food and fun as well. Columbo's in Southern California's answer to easy street. Great grub with some of the finest steaks, the freshest fish awaiting for you to devour. Did I mention Columbo's family Italian recipe? Columbo's spaghetti bolognese, their chicken pesto ravioli, magnifico, and of course, the world's greatest meatballs. I can go on, but why go on when you can go on over to Columbo's and experience delicious and eat? Well, Columbo's, of course, that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. Columbo's, not too bad.
Let's talk about your credit cards. When you first start using them, it's a slow drip. You make charges, then more charges, then bills come, and they keep coming. When you open your statements, the floodgates come pouring in. You realize you have more credit card debt than you could afford, and you're barely making the minimum payments. Wouldn't it be nice to make one affordable payment and have all your credit card bills covered? Make this free call and learn our responsible way to get your credit card bills paid and under control. Sponsored by Consumer Education Services, a nonprofit organization. 800-876-3643. 800-876-3643. 800-876-3643. That's 800-876-3643. CESI is not a loan company. The establishment of a debt management plan may adversely affect your credit rating. No payment of debt may lead creditors to agree to finance and other charges to undertake collection activity, including liquidation.
WGRN, Chuck Wilder, program note, when next we meet, Seton Motley, climate change, Joe Trotter, summer blues, diesel cost and inflation, and Joe Gazzardi with his latest. I have the one and only Kimberly Dvorak, thekdreport.com. And so there's a lot of killings that have taken place, right, Kimberly?
Oh, yeah.
Where they actually found these chemicals in the killer. And you mentioned 1999, 12 students and a teacher, and 24 others killed or wounded in Columbine, Colorado. And what was it he had? Therapeutic amounts of Luvox? Is that how you pronounce it? Luvox?
Yep, and it's an antidepressant.
I'm sorry, you cut out.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I mean, they did find it in his bloodstream, and he was taking the medication. So, again, this is something that we're going to have to work out in this country before giving our kids antidepressants.
Dylan Keybold, no toxicology reports. However, he had, what was it? They took their own lives, okay?
Yeah.
But it's like,
Yeah.
it's obvious that it's going on, and there should be more control over it.
Mm-hmm.
But like you say, I don't want to lose that commercial, right?
Yeah.
Because we're making millions and millions, from this company, and we're going to keep pushing it.
Yeah. And there
I
has
guess
to be,
that's what it is.
we have to put together a panel, and we have to set aside politics, because we lost kids, first, second, and third graders. They're very young. They had their entire lives ahead of them. And the fact that we probably won't even go near Big Pharma because they feel like they're too big to fail. And this, they'll sweep it under the rug. It's a dirty secret in this country that we give our kids way too much medication. It used to be just antibiotics when they had an ear infection, but now they're putting these kids on antidepressants. So what's what's that doing? What part of the brain is that affecting? And is it just falling them completely apart and then feel like, I'm just going to go shoot some things? Also on the shooting at schools, I want to say this. I won't repeat the kid's name, period. We can't give them notoriety because they want attention.
Right.
We cannot give them that. We have to stop. Big Pharma's going to have to take their ads off TV. They just have to.
Well, and this list goes on and on, I'm telling you. Which one was the Gabby? Yeah. Gabby Giffords, Tucson, Arizona.
Yep.
Former congresswoman, critically injured, but 6 people were murdered, but you mostly just hear about Gabby.
Yeah.
But the shooter, 22-year-old man, suffered from schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm.
And he's now in jail getting all kind of psychotic drugs.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. And then the movie shooter in Colorado, let's see, he was, he had a psychotropic cocktail.
Yeah.
Get it out. His condition went undisclosed to law enforcement until later, I guess.
Yeah. They have HIPAA rules where you're not supposed to talk about kids whatsoever, and we're not supposed to have our information shared wherever it may be. But in Aurora, it's where the movie theater shooting took place, and he planned that, and to take a cocktail of different antibiotics, antidepressants, that we knew where that was going to go. I mean, he made comments about it to people. Police came out and did a well check on him, and they still did not do anything about it. And that's what I mean. We need some sort of, like I said, put away the politics. Let's figure out how we're going to make our schools safer, and let's take care of our country first for a change.
All out of time. Thank you very much, dear. Kimberly Dvorak, thekdreport.com. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.